Back, everyone. The Northeast stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress at a meeting over the weekend in Gombe State endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Tinubu-Shettima for re-election in 2027. Now, according to reports and videos that surfaced, the endorsement was not unanimous as the APC National Vice Chairman Northeast, Mustafa Salihu, refused to endorse Shettima alongside the president, a development that led to a rowdy session during the meeting. There had been questions over Shettima's fate since party leaders endorsed Tinubu as sole candidate for the 2027 presidential election during the APC National Summit held at the presidential villa in Abuja last month. Now, this has fueled speculations that Tinubu might not run with Shettima in 2027. But to speak more on this and perhaps clear the air tonight is the Director General Tinubu-Shettima Ambassadors, Prince Oyerinde Oladele. He joins me from our Abuja studio. Good evening to you and welcome to Politics Tonight.
Good evening. Good evening.
So what do you make of what played out in Gombe?
Well, I saw that as a display of loyalty, by the people of the Northeast who believe in Tinubu and who believe in Shettima. It is a display of loyalty, and which I believe that loyalty is what the presidents always appreciate in politics. So it is a display of loyalty to the vice president and to the president, likewise to the party, the All Progressive Congress.
And we understand that, yes, it led to a rowdy session, but some have said that the National Vice Chairman Northeast is believed to have done it intentionally, that perhaps he was feeding into the zonal sentiment about the retention of the vice president. How do you also assess that?
Well, the truth is that for anybody to endorse Tinubu without Shettima is more or less like like someone that is playing a politics of hypocrites, because there is no how of Obasanjo. Atiku was endorsed alongside with the president, despite the fact that Atiku was not even loyal to the then president, Olusegun Obasanjo. He was unanimously endorsed by the Northeast PDP members, and individual support group endorsed the vice president along with the president. Likewise, during the re-election of Goodluck Jonathan in 2011, with Namade Sambo, he was unanimously endorsed, alongside with the president. So I don't see the reason why anybody will be endorsing Tinubu without Shettima. It was done during Oshibajo, and all those past presidents supported their vice president for re-election. And I know that such rejection cannot come from Tinubu. So if there is anybody endorsing Tinubu without Shettima, the person is just playing politics, playing arithmetics, mathematics of politics.
Mr. Oyerinde,
using Shettima as the
so
almighty formula.
In the party?
Well, I believe that is just a speculation, because just like I know up to date, the relationship between the president and the vice president are cordial, and the loyalty of the vice president to the president is very unique in the history of Nigeria. I could remember right from time since 2002 when we started the campaign as a support group. We visited the vice president, Senator Kashim Shettima. He was recently considered as the vice presidential candidate of Ashiwaju then. We met with him few weeks after the president visited the National Assembly. We were the National Assembly Progressive Legislative Head then. So we visited the vice presidential candidates Senator Kashim-Shettima in his office. And we discussed our intention, to support the candidacy of the president and the vice president because they are products of National Assembly. Both of them are former senators. So we told him, because our group then was Shettima ambassadors, and he told us plainly that support group is unique, but the support group cannot stand without the name of his boss, that we should go and change it to Tinubu-Shettima ambassadors. So that was when we changed the name of the group from Shettima ambassadors to Tinubu-Shettima ambassadors. And since then, the vice president has been 100% loyal to the president. So if the national chairman is now playing politics by not mentioning Shettima as the vice presidential, the running mate of Tinubu in 2027, I think that is just a politics, which I believe that a well-meaning Nigerian should not even accept that. And even the Northeast politicians, the Northeast party members, the progressive precisely, should not accept that, because there are some people trying to play politics with that so that they can have an avenue to criticize the president during when the election campaign started. So I believe that it is just a game. They may say that maybe it was a mistake by the national chairman not to mention the vice president, but I believe that it may be some politics around it. But
Mr. Lodele, if I may quickly come in here.
The governor of Gombe State and the governor of Yobe State should visit the president and let him know that this is their vice presidential candidate in 2027.
I will get to the governors in just a moment, because they are also, whilst the governors may have endorsed him, we're also getting some reports from that angle. But I want to stay on the issue you raised about loyalty. Loyalty is one factor to consider when you're picking a deputy or a deputy governor, a vice president. But again, you also want to look at the political angle of it, somebody who can bring in the numbers to what you already have. Those who are opposed to the VP Shettima's retention as vice president or vice presidential running mate to President Tinubu in 2027, they are basing their position on the Muslim ticket. They say that it was a problem in 2023, even though the president went on to win that election. Is that ticket likely to pose a challenge in 2027, considering the mood of the nation?
Well, the Muslim ticket of 18 was a case study in 2023. And all the Christian community now in Nigeria discovered that it is just a politics. That the candidacy, the religion of each candidate and the vice president and the presidential candidate does not determine the situation of the country. So even most Christians that criticize Shettima candidacy as the vice president in 2023 are even regretting it now, because what is going on right now is far beyond expectation. There is no religion. There is nobody playing religion. The president is not playing religion with his governors. Likewise, the vice president. You can see even in Kaduna State, the southern Kaduna, where we have most issues of religion crisis. Nothing is more happening there. It was happening when the former governor was there, El-Rufai. But currently now, the governor has stabilized everything. And if you are talking about the population or someone that can bring votes, in the Northeast geopolitical zone, in 2023 presidential election, it is only Borno State, where Senator Kashim-Shettima came from, that deliver votes for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The other three states like Adamawa, Bauchi, and Taraba State are opposition states, up to date. The Gombe State and Yobe states that are progressive failed to deliver to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. It is only Borno State that deliver that vote. So if you are not saying that Shettima should not be considered as the vice presidential candidate to the president in 2027, it's more or less as if we are trying to play politics that will make us lose more votes, because there are many people who supported the president basically because of the vice president. And in Borno State today, all the politicians there, including the opposition, are fully in support of Asiwaju, are fully in support of Shettima. So if there is anybody playing politics, maybe from the Northwest geopolitical zone, I believe they should play that politics wisely. Because most of the people that are even standing against Shettima now are people that are not ready to support Asiwaju in 2027. And they are trying to use that as a bait, as a case study, to have a point against the president when they fail to deliver their state. So I believe that the governor of Borno State, the governor of Gombe State, and that of Yobe State need to visit the president in support of Shettima as the vice president of the nation in 2027 presidential election.
There are also those who, within that region or that zone, say the vice president has failed to speak up when it mattered the most at very critical times. So what's your assessment of the vice president and how he has continued to relate with the Northeast?
Well, the Northeast of a thing, just like I said, many people, when election is fast approaching like this, many people will be playing politics, even with the life of the citizens. And when you observe that, the vice president may have his own reason why he decided not to talk, because there is division of labor in governance. He is the vice president, and he's not in charge to talk about maybe if there is insecurity in Borno State, if there is insecurity in Taraba State or any other Northeast state. It is the National Security Advisor that's supposed to rise and take action when necessary. And the governors of those states, they are the one in charge that's supposed to take action. It's not the vice president. The vice president is more or less an assistant to the president when need be. It is only when the president asks him to talk or to take action, that is when he needs to take action when necessary. And you have been seeing him moving here and there, representing the president north and south, east and west, representing the president wisely and reasonably. So if the president doesn't assign him to take certain action, you cannot see him, doing that, because those people that are in charge that are supposed to take action, we see it as if is taking their responsibility. So I don't see any reason why the vice president should act when his principal doesn't ask him to take action.
Taking action is one thing. Helping to galvanize the necessary resources for certain things to be done in the region is another thing. And then also speaking up to the issues is also another thing. Has he done that successfully well?
I think the president is, the vice president is truly and 100% with his governor. And is relating with all the other governors in that region, most especially the progressive. And as a vice president, there is no need for him to take sentiment, by acting or relating with only the progressive governor in that region. He is relating properly well with all the 6 governors and the citizens of the Northeast geopolitical zone. But like I said, there is limitation in taking action in governance, because there are people who are in charge of a particular activities, and if you are taking action in that regard, they will see you as if you are taking their responsibility. So if only when the president asks him to take action or to do certain things, just like what happened in Niger State, you can see him there, representing the president. That's just a message from the president. He cannot go or take action without the directive of the president. So I think the vice president is doing well in his region and in the country. But what I will say is that all other states where leaders, like even the NSA in Adamawa State, where they came from, they should try and make sure that they speak, in masses, with their votes during the election of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. It is not about endorsement. And it is not proper for anybody or group of people or support group to even, endorse the president without the vice president. By doing that, states that failed to deliver the president in 2023 are using endorsement, as a politics to buy the mind of the president.
All right, Mr. Ladele, just a minute. Does this particular incident in Gombe State signal deeper fractures within the APC ahead of the 2027 general elections, especially in the Northeast? Should the vice president be concerned?
What was the incident, please?
The endorsement crisis, or controversy rather, in Gombe. Does it signal deeper fractures within the APC?
Just like I said, I don't see anything wrong in that because it was a display of loyalty to the vice president, in which the president always believed in loyalty. So those people that play that politics only do that to buy the mind of the president. And there is nothing to be fair about because the opposition are only looking for ways, to fight the ruling party, to criticize the ruling party. Misunderstanding is inevitable in politics. We cannot avoid misunderstanding. Even in our respective family, we have issues with our wives, our husband, our children, our family, friends. We do fight, because it is inevitable. So in politics, we cannot do without that. There must be crisis, there must be disagreements, but those people that raise alarm that no Shettima, no APC in Northeast, it is just a display of loyalty to the party, to the president, and to the vice president, and nothing should be, should be tagged along with it. So I just believe that the stakeholders,
but those people are also,
Mr. from that region,
Oladile rather, those people are also threatening to defect if come 2027, Shettima is not on the ticket as the vice presidential candidate. How should this be addressed within the APC?
Well, my advice to the APC is that any political leader, any group of people, either the National Assembly, the party national, or any support group that wants to endorse Tinubu now, should endorse the president and the vice president. And if the president decided not to consider Shettima as his running mate again, he will make it known to the party, he will make it known to our leaders across the nation, and there is no issue with that. But endorsing Tinubu without Shettima is more or less like playing politics with the candidacy of the president. So I don't see the reason why anybody should, should endorse Tinubu without Shettima. And in the northeast geopolitical zone, most leaders that are from like states like Adamawa, like Bauchi, like Taraba, that are opposition, what are they doing in their respective states to bring more people back to the fold for Tinubu-Shettima? They shouldn't look at the situation whereby the vice president should be like an edict to them, because most people that are saying that they are going to defect, it is more or less like, it's not a threat, but it is a sign of loyalty to the party and to the vice president, likewise the president. There is nobody that is going to defect. But I can tell you that it is likely to reduce the votes from the northeast geopolitical zone. So because I don't see any reason why the vice president, Senator Kashim-Shettima, will be removed as the vice presidential candidate in 2027. Because if Tinubu can win election conducted by Buhari in 2023, there is no reason why Tinubu will not win this forthcoming election in 2027. Everything is clear now. The Southwest are in support of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We do have to leave it there.
Are fully in support. Likewise, the Southeast, we have majority there now.
We have to leave it there, Mr.
Yeride. Is fully in support.
That's where
the Northwest are fully in support as well.
That's where we have to leave it.
So there's no reason whereby somebody will be thinking that maybe because there are a lot of votes in the Northwest, so they want to consider someone from the Northwest. No.
Thank you for your time, Director General, Tinubu-Shettima ambassadors, Oyerinde Oladile. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource person is theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 1 a.m. Also, get in touch with us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook.